This video is sponsored by No, I'm just kidding. Nobody cares enough about me to sponsor me. Hey guys, I hope you're staying safe out there. So recently, because of everything that's been going on, I've started to think about entertainment, especially since we've all started to rely even more on it than usual. And I've come to realize that, in my opinion, a lot of people don't properly, for lack of a better word, value it. Some people put way too much value on it, and some people don't realize just how valuable it is. So in this video, I wanted to go over that because I feel that it's very important to realize how valuable everything in your life really is, so that you don't take anything for granted or put too much value into certain things. Now, your immediate thought would be that I'm talking specifically about the famous people, like Jim Carrey, Will Smith, Jack Black, but rest assured, I'm not just talking about the famous people, even though they're a good chunk of it. I'm talking about the entire entertainment industry, whether it be movies, music, sports, and everybody involved in it, whether it be the editors, the animators, whoever it may be. So I'm referring to the entertainment industry as a whole, not just their faces, even though, again, that's a good chunk of it. So I think it's best to start where I believe people underrate the importance of entertainment. See, in my opinion, I think entertainment is one of the most important things that can be provided to us. Now, I know that sounds a little weird, but just hear me out. I think I mentioned this in one of my previous videos. I'm not sure. If you know if I have or haven't, go ahead and leave it down in the comments below. But our bodies and minds are not designed to be going 100% of the time. Now, don't get me wrong. That's not an excuse for you to be lazy. Please don't do that. But what I am saying is that our brains and bodies need periods of rest. If you talk to any doctor or physical trainer, they'll tell you that your body needs time to recover. Now, that doesn't mean you need to slack off, but sometimes it's good to give your body a day or two to recover and replenish, because if you overuse your body, your muscles begin to get damaged. It's the same principle with your brain. After too much overwhelming amount of work or load, then chances are your brain's going to start to lose efficiency. And your brain just overall needs time to recover. That's why sometimes when you're working on a puzzle, somebody will be like, hey, you should come back later after you relax. And after you do, it's like right in front of you, sometimes extremely obvious. And then you come back frustrated because of how obvious it is, to the point where you start accusing a magic gnome of coming in and switching the paper. Sorry? Had a little rant, but you get my point. And of course, some of us will use certain mediums while we're actually doing work. For instance, we'll listen to certain kinds of music while we're doing homework or surgery. Whichever one you do more often, you might like to listen to music while you're doing it. Now, of course, if you're doing something like studying, it kind of has to be a certain kind of music. I actually made a video involving that. I'll leave it down in the description below if you want to watch it. But point being is that some of us will even use entertainment while we're working to, again, better accomplish the task. And even the current situation in the world is a prime example as to how entertainment can help de-stress us so that we can better deal with the situation. I mean, that's why things like video game consoles are selling out like crazy, and I imagine that subscription services have gone up a fair bit since this whole thing started. And branching off of the whole video game thing, the reason we have such a wide variety of entertainment is because we like very different things, as you will see by any discussion board on the internet about any form of entertainment, I'm pretty sure. For instance, I think watching sports or just any kind of game is very boring. To me, the purpose of a game is to play it, not watch somebody else play it. But other people really enjoy watching other people play sports or any sort of game, which is great. But luckily for me, there are other forms of entertainment like playing video games or watching TV shows or movies or what have you. The point is that there's such a wide variety in so many things because that's how varied we are in the kind of entertainment we like. And of course, it goes without saying that overindulging in entertainment can be a very negative thing or have negative side effects, such as, again, being very lazy and trying to block out the outside world. But when used properly, like I already explained, entertainment can be a very crucial part of allowing us just to do life. Just to be able to properly operate in life and do the variety of tasks that we need to on a day-to-day basis. Now, with all that, we have the other side where people put way too much value in entertainment, or usually a specific person or group of people. So to put this as bluntly and straightforward as possible, they're not curing cancer. Which again is very blunt, but it's probably the easiest way to explain this whole point. Usually what will happen is that people will take icons or a group of icons, maybe musicians, actors, whoever it may be, and just put them on a far larger pedestal than is justified. Now, don't get me wrong, a lot of people put a lot of time and effort and work into doing the things they do. And to jump back to my previous point, because I honestly forgot to mention this, people often don't appreciate how much effort goes into trying to make this entertainment. Take a music video, for instance. It's not just the person on the screen singing. Somebody needs to make sure that everything goes well. Somebody actually needs to come up with the original idea. Somebody else needs to make sure all the shots come out correctly. Somebody else needs to somehow glue this hodgepodge of clips together and make sure it lines up with the actual song the video is being made for. And that's just music videos. Take another industry, video gaming. It can take like 2 years to make a good large video game. Even longer if you want to make a good video game and you're an indie developer. So there's a lot of effort that goes into it. And even a lot of famous people. Being an actor can be very difficult. Being a singer, that's a lot of like breathing and a lot of practice. And being a professional video game player, that's a lot of hours of studying the game, making sure your muscle memory is on point. So point being, it can be very underappreciated the amount of effort that goes into just making any form of entertainment. But with all that being said, ultimately, that's what they're doing. They're making entertainment, which, as I've already explained, is a very important thing. But again, it's not curing cancer. It's not facilitating peace between countries. It's not solving an economic crisis. So even though it is a very important and underappreciated thing from some people, other people put it much higher than it really is. They'll prioritize it over all these other things, which I think are far more important. Because, ultimately, a movie's not going to do you that much good if you're dying from cancer or you're worried a bomb's going to drop on you because countries are fighting. Now, another negative effect I'm sure many of you have already noticed is that a lot of people who are famous or well known because of entertainment can become, let's say, a smidge arrogant. Now, not all of them. I know that a lot of them are very humble, or at least just like a regular human person. A lot of them are pretty down to earth, but a good portion of them are still very arrogant and think they're all that in a bag of chips just because their face is on the teletube. Well, I'll tell you this. You want to know who really is all that in a bag of chips? It's me. Here, look. I got the chips to prove it. Alright, bad joke over. And if you're still with me and hopefully done cringing, my point is that even though that they're providing a service that a lot of people take for granted, as I've previously explained, they carry themselves almost like they're worth more than anybody else. And even the people who are doing these amazing things, like curing cancer, even right now, an obvious example are the people on the front lines of this whole situation, the nurses, the paramedics, so on and so forth. Even they shouldn't look down upon others because of what they do. I mean, they should be appreciated more because of what they do, for sure. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to quickly deviate from that right now just to say thank you very much to anybody who is on the front lines trying to deal with this. I want to say I really appreciate what you're doing because you are putting your life at risk. You are putting your family's life at risk. And even though a lot of other people will take it for granted, rest assured that at the very least, I am very appreciative of what you're doing. And by any chance, if there's anybody who is on the front lines listening to this video, I want to say thank you. Okay, I know that was really random, but I kind of felt that needed to be said. But back to the point at hand, is that nobody's necessarily above anybody else because of what they do as a profession, especially people who are in the entertainment business and that's their only contribution. Again, not everybody's like that. There's a lot of people who are very famous, who are still very humble and still very down to earth. And I would hate for those people to be lumped in with the other people who are not. I'm sure several people are going to comment Keanu Reeves right now. as one of the people who are still very down to earth and polite and kind, and rightfully so. But there are still famous people who hold themselves above others simply because of what they produce. And again, entertainment, very important, but you're not better than everybody else because of that. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you guys have any thoughts on this whole philosophy, any other ideas for videos, or just want to say hi, go ahead and leave it in the comment section below. Otherwise, make sure you hit that subscribe button and that bell button. I post every other week. And until then, hear nothing and listen to all. Bye guys.